Racing is not like practicing. You're making split-second decisions around a bunch of people. So you go do your local races, and there might be 10 kids in your class, 5 kids in your class, and you can sort of see everybody. Then you go to a bigger race, and there's 20, 30, 40, 50 kids out there. And learning that skill set for these kids to be able to drive in that kind of environment is difficult. So let's say you guys are, I don't know how many races you guys do a year. How many times you race a year? Like 8? How about you? 2 times a year? How about you?
Is this like...
How many times you race, like go to race a year?
Like go-kart or...
Go-kart. Everything actually, if you do off-road truck or something.
Like 20.
Okay, that's all. Okay, now I'm going to just give you a little point. I was a factory rider in motocross. I raced 50 times average a year for 35 years. So to learn how to think the night before the race, what to think when you're on the starting line, what to think when you go into Anaheim Supercross, and back when I raced there was 65,000 or 70,000 seats there, so there's a lot of people there. What to think when you go into that environment takes time. It's not like your first time out you're going to be learning all this stuff. So I go back to this family unit, this a lot of times I see this pressure cooker, and it's this, you're braking too early, you're missing the apex. The kid's been driving for 6 months, or he's been driving for a year and a half. So that's what I don't know you guys. So my point is, if you're one of these parents that are putting your kid in a pressure cooker, let's back off. Let's keep it fun for, again, 2 to 5 years before these kids get enough races and before they have the race skill set to make a higher percentage of good decisions on the racetrack. So I think you said you're racing 2 times a year. Do you know? Okay. You're like 8 times a year. So let's say 8 times a year. That's going to take you, probably 5 years. So 5 years you're going to do 40 races. You follow what I'm saying? So that's learning how to start, how to go out and do your parade lap and not take somebody out who's next to you, or avoid somebody who just is their second race and they spin out in front of you. And how to pass people safely with a higher percentage of success than failure. Risk to reward when you're out there racing. A lot of stuff that I know Troy talks to you guys about. A lot of stuff to learn. I don't know the parents wise what your racing backgrounds is. Helps to have a little bit and pass it on to your son. Hopefully that sort of makes sense. So the main point that I wanted to present here is just the environment that you create for your son or daughter to make it so they enjoy this and get all the practice and time in to be very successful at it if that's what they want to do. I'll pass this on to my son. My son is one of the most successful go-kart drivers in the world. Just won his 4th Supernats. So when I probably go into some of the pressure cooker stuff, if I wasn't too bad. But the environment that I try to create for him when he started, I think at 4 years old, started racing motocross. And then for the people that I get underneath our MRC tent. So when we're out on our practice days or we're doing at our races, the way that we pass on the information, the way that we talk to people is to, it's pressure, but I can't be like, God, you gotta go faster, and he's trying everything he can to go as fast as he can. That isn't the way to do it. It's to have the patience and then give them the tools and the time to learn that skill set. So pass it on to my son Billy here.
Yeah, I'll build up that real quick. So I've been racing vehicles, racing motorcycles since I was 4 years old. Started off in go-karts when I was about 16, but long story short, I've been on a starting line every week of my life for at least 20, 24 years. So the amount of racing that I have, compared to the people that I'm around on the track, is it an unfair advantage? Absolutely. When the guy next to me is, maybe in his 40th or 50th race and I'm in my 1000th race, the amount of experience and the knowledge and the mindset that brings into your racecraft and your confidence level is huge. So at a young age, we're pretty privileged to be able to work with a lot of the younger kids ourselves on our team, and one of the biggest things we can teach is to build this support structure, like he was talking about with the family. So, what's so cool about racing, no matter if it's 2 wheels or 4 wheels, go-karts, on-road, off-road, one of the most unique parts about it is the support structure that you have to build between the driver, the family, the mother, the father, the mechanic, and how that feedback and that communication is processed. And at the end of the day, racing is just one big problem that we're all trying to solve: how to go faster around the track. So, you know, as a driver, I've always preached to my drivers, you know, I've never been a fan of the drivers that come in, say the go-kart's good or bad, and then walk away. You know, I always try to, you know, one of the biggest things you can bring to the table as a driver yourself, you know, you wake up in the morning, I want to go to the track, I want to pound laps, I want to be better, I want to be the fastest guy out there. Okay, well, you need to learn. You need to learn everything you can about the equipment that you're driving. So everything from tire pressures to suspension setups to go-kart setups to axles, engines, how to tune an engine, how to tune a chassis. It's all so critical. And yeah, you might not make a lot of sense right now, but think about every single day you're on the track as an opportunity to learn so you can build your foundation of knowledge 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And then when you're looking back on it, you have so much information and so much knowledge compared to your peers who, you know, out of 50 races, they just came back in and said, okay, the go-kart's good, I'm going to go play with my buddies, which there's a time and a place for that, but always take the time to try to learn and try to appreciate, you know, what your family is doing and what they're spending and the amount of time and effort it takes to go racing. And, you know, you put 110% effort in as well. I usually can tell the difference very quickly with the kids that we work with, and the difference it makes over 6 months, a year, 2 years, in the driver development of the kids that are really putting all their effort into it, really trying to learn as much about the vehicle. You know, when they're coming back in off the track, it's a real communication between them and their parents or their mechanics, all three of them, you know, the whole family unit, trying to improve the machine, improve the driving, improve the motor. You know, it's this weird, you know, it's unlike any other sport out there, unlike any other stick and ball sport, you know, racing, where we have this opportunity to meld. You know, it's an individual sport, it's a team sport, it's a vehicle sport. You know, all I can say is, you know, from my experience, the best thing you can do is, you know, learn everything you can about the vehicle, because that information, that knowledge will only make you an even better racer in the future. And, you know, long story short, make sure you're having fun, make sure you wake up every morning, you're wanting to go, you know, get in the go-kart or get in the vehicle that you're trying to race. You know, at the end of the day, we're doing this for fun. And as long as you're having fun, you know, the results will come because you'll be wanting to put in the effort.
Key in here. So the roller coaster ride that racing gives you.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have your highs and your lows. For you kids, man, there's awesome times and there's just, you know, bum out times. You just got to really, I mean, as parents, you just got to understand that, and that's life. I mean, we've all had our ups and downs.
Yeah.
Kids, it's going to be part of your life. Winning, can't win every race. It'd be great, you know, you have a few of them in a row there, it's nice. But you're most of the time it's going to be up and downs. And when you know, aren't having the success that you're after, what really makes that successful person is those times that he isn't successful. So it's not like you just go back in and you know, huddle in a little ball and, you know, pull the covers over your head. You got to face it up and look in the mirror sometimes and, you know, are you training hard enough? Are you eating right? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you off your phones for at least, you know, a couple hours out of the day? But are you guys putting the time and effort in like your parents are financially for you guys to do it? But just a roller coaster ride, it's part of life. It's definitely part of racing. You know, you get taken out by somebody, or you're in one of these things where you're about as fast as another kid. And it just seems like no matter what, you've got this rivalry already going on early on in your career. And your parents are pissed off at their parents, and they're pissed off at you. Unfortunately, that's all part of racing, and you just gotta, you know, keep your chin up and try to get faster so you don't have to be around that guy anymore. But just understand the roller coaster side of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's an emotional sport, and like, you know, sometimes you need a lot of the bad days to fire you up so you can get back out and go chase the wins. And, you know, if you think about it, there's the majority of people that go racing, the majority of the kids, the majority of, you know, even older people, they'll never win a race. That's just a fact of life. So, you know, if you're in the position to be at the front of a pack, to be fighting for wins, understand how important that is and how, you know, how difficult that is, and like when you do feel the success, how much that means and how much, you know, effort goes into getting those results.
Winning is not easy. Some of the, you know, I've won a lot of races. Some of the wins that I've had are some of the hardest times I've ever been on a motocross bike or in a go-kart. I actually raced go-karts, was pretty good. But it's like to win, sometimes it's so painful. You're using every bit of mental energy you have and every bit of physical energy you have. It hurts that bad. But that's what it took for you to come across that finish line first. So a lot of people think that winning, and it's all this, it's just awesome, we're just floating around, no pressure, no nothing. But it's really physical, you know, physically demanding on you, mentally demanding on you. Throw in something else real quick. A lot of people just when they're thinking about racing, you drivers. I know you guys dream about winning, doing all this stuff. That's good and dandy, but dreaming about it is not actually doing it. So a lot of people do. They spend a lot of time. This is like a real thinking part about racing, but a lot of people dream about winning, and that sort of makes them happy. So then when it comes time to put that physical effort out and that mental effort out, they can't do it because in their mind they've already sort of won, but they haven't. So my point is, winning sometimes is literally the most physical, painful thing you've ever done. But then after the checkered flag comes out, you're on the podium and stuff like that, all that goes away. But sometimes it's not easy, and it's that effort that makes that win so much more rewarding.
I can't even reach my car. That's not me. You're fucking in the mountain. No. What's the little there? Oh no.
That was you?
No, that was Maverick. Yes. He's a first. Got this, Maverick.
The red has 4 laps. Tied with
This one's close.
so far. Come on. Who's red?
Red has 6 laps.
You guys are doing good. I'm impressed.
Go red. Oh, hey, who's coming after you? Who's coming after you?
Stay your eyes in front of the car.
15 laps. Come on, Maverick. Do it.
Got this. Do 16. Do 25. My top 10 is 3.
Beat him. Beat him.
Miles an hour on the track.
You think he's a fast? You should see
Musgrave coming out using a lot of hand-eye coordination. Slap hard with Musgrave.
You're catching up to white.
Gotta love it. Spending more time with our kids. Again, doing different things to help their on-track racing as well.